Hello everybody, I hope y'all are having a good day. And I have another juicy deck for you guys, but I'm going to start with the replay and then I'm going to move on to the deck because I don't have any live gameplay footage of this. But this deck is insane. How this deck works is the core mechanics of this deck is you're using one monster to link into a bunch of monsters, and you're link climbing with only one monster to get your ultimate boss monster, which happens to be the rival Cyberverse Agnister, this guy. And his effects are, he's not affected by any cards. The only ways to get rid of this guy are by battle or by tribute. And every time it's your turn, you can choose to pop a card on the field and spawn a token. And it's a very good card. It also gains attack depending on the number of link materials used. So it's 3+ material or 3+ monsters with different attributes, and generally you'll have like 5 and you'll start with the 5k attack monster, which is good because it's hard to swing over that way, so it kind of makes it hard to get rid of him by battle. And he's a pretty good boss monster, but he's just hard to summon because you have to have 3 different monsters with different attributes. And so the core of this deck is using cards like Aikichi, Ignister, and Picari. Both of them, they go hand in hand. They search the other, and they add a card like Picari. You'll use Picari to search for AI to meet you. AI to meet you will search for a Aikichi by showing your opponent Fire Phoenix Ignister. And then from there, you will keep on using these monsters as link summon because of this field spell. The way this field spell works is if you have no monsters in your main monster zone, you're allowed to special summon a monster from your hand that's a level 4 or lower Ignister monster. And you can't, it's not once per turn. As long as it's a different ability. So for example, if I had Picari and I normal summon Picari to search for AI to meet you, use AI to meet you to search for Aikichi, if you link summon and there's no monster in your main monster zones and this field spell is on your side of the field, you're able to activate this and special summon Aikichi from the hand, activate Aikichi's effect. And so the core mechanics of this deck is just searching and linking with only one card and climbing your links and searching your deck and getting everything in your graveyard to get into their rival Cyberverse Agnister. And this particular duel is against a Tri-Brigade Zodiac deck. And you can see how there's so many different ways you can get to Cyberverse rival Agnister. In this duel, I am able to get into him through an Ash Blossom, a Maxi, and a Nibiru. And it's just an all-out. This was a pretty good duel to watch. My buddy, he was watching me do this duel, and me and him were both ecstatic when I was able to get my play off. So here I discard Ignister AI land to try to pop his back row. Sadly, it was a Tri-Brigade Revolt, so he was able to special summon all these cards from his grave to link summon into another Tri-Brigade. And then from there, he linked into the Tri-Brigade Ominous Omen. And so I was worried here because I figured he would have another negate. And of course, they have graveyard effects, so they could keep popping their effects. And it was just, this duel was a pretty crazy one, especially since Tri-Brigades are some of the top tier decks. It felt really good to like play through all these negates and barriers and beating this. Okay, so the main problem this deck has, this Ignister deck, is Maxis. Maxis will hurt this deck so much because if they activate Maxi, you're special summoning a lot off one card, so they're gonna have upwards of a 20 card hand. And I believe by the end of my turn, this gentleman had a 21 card hand, which is scary, especially since it allowed him to pull all the negates out of his deck with every single summon I did. It was a chance of him pulling another negate. We go into this card right here. This card searches the field spell. He negates it. It's fine, because the field spell comes back from the graveyard by banishing an Ignister monster to get it back set on the field, so I did that. Got the Ash Blossom out the way. That's one negate we don't have to worry about no more. Activate the field spell, special summon Picari. Picari searches for AI to meet you. AI to meet you searches for Aikichi by revealing Fire Phoenix and the extra deck. Searches for Aikichi. And then you link these two away to clear up the monster zone so you can special summon Aikichi again. Cyberverse Wicked. Cyberverse Wicked is another card that searches. It'll search for our Wind Tuner. And then this is when I got nibbed. But the cool thing is this deck is able to play through Nibiru. He tried to save his Tri-Brigade with Salomon Great Almirage by attributing it to try to keep it from being destroyed. However, Nibiru gets rid of everything on the field anyway. and gives me a token. Cyberverse Wicked's effect still gets off. I still am able to search for my Wind Igniter card, Buru. Link Spider, okay. Link Spider is very important for this deck because it allows you to play through things like Nibiru, because Nibiru summons a token, and with the token in your main monster zone, you will not be able to activate Igniter AI land. And sorry about that. That was a wild endless sky overlord, a good buddy of mine. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. He makes content similar to mine, more Fortnite than anything, but he does make similar content. As I was saying, however, Nibiru, since it special summons a token, the token clogs up your main monster zone, so you can't activate your field spell like Igniter AI land, and that keeps you from continuing our combos. So that's why we have Link Spider in the deck. Link Spider gets rid of that token so that we clear our monster zone and keep going, which I do. So it's just this deck, there's so many different ways to get to your final boss monster. It's all about just learning the deck, and then figure we can go from there. When we link into Splash Mage, one key factor is we used our field spell Igniter AI land to special summon Buru. What I believe that's how you pronounce it, Buru. The Wind Igniter. The Wind Igniter, it searches upon special summon. It will search for one card in your deck and throw it in the graveyard. And it's very important you throw Danmari in the grave, because what Danmari does is that's a negate if you have your boss monster on the field. If you have your Arrival Cyberverse at Igniter on the field and Danmari in your grave, you can negate something on the field, which will be very useful later in the duel. We go into Splash Mage, but we've already used Splash Mage's effect to special summon, so we won't be able to use it again. The only reason I did that was to get, free up my main monster zone. Oh, we didn't activate the effect, my bad. So then we activate the effect. I don't know why I was thinking. Maybe it's because I thought Cyber's, I don't know, my brain. It's currently 3:33 in the morning because I had to stop recording because I messed up recording, so I had to redo some of it. So I'm out of it a little bit. But we go into our Dark Templar at Igniter. What he does is once something is special summoned to an arrow he points to, which is either battle diagonal left, down, and diagonal right. It allows him to special summon from the graveyard, however many. So let's say if we have something special summoned here, we can special summon 2. But we're about to use another effect of Dark Infinite Igniter to get 3 here, so we get the extra materials to get our Cyberverse Arrival to big attack numbers. That card is special summons from the hand. That card and the Water Igniter card, they special summon from the hand if you control another Igniter. We're gonna link it away into Dark Infinite here. In Dark Infinite, whenever another Igniter activates its effect, you can move this card to a link it points to, an arrow points to, so it points to the left. That's why it's very crucial we summon Dark Templar on the right side, because otherwise you won't be able to move Dark Infinite to the left and it won't clear up the spaces to get 3 monsters out here. So we activate his effect, then we immediately activate Dark Infinite. Dark Infinite will slide to the left. And the cool thing about Dark Infinite is after you change it to the left, you can change its ability. And you see here, we always put it to Divine because there are no other Divine attribute monsters in this deck. So it's just a guaranteed you have that extra attribute to get your Arrival Cyberverse up to bigger attack numbers. We're going to synchro those 2 away because whenever we synchro into something using the Wind Igniter, you can special summon the thing you used to synchro within the grave. And here, for instance, we use Picari to synchro, so it's going to special summon back Picari from the grave. It's very important you synchro into Wing Pegasus here because that's another backup Wing Pegasus. If you have a Cyberverse monster on your side of the field get destroyed while this card's in your graveyard, it'll send a card from your opponent's side of the field back into the deck, which is very nice for stopping OTKs. And just like as extra insurance. As you can see, we definitely have taken the Max C challenge here. Definitely. But the combo is almost fully done to where we get our boss monster. We link those 2 away into Splash Mage. And then we AI Reborn to get Picard back. And the reason we have to go into Splash Mage here is because otherwise you would get like, you'd only get a 3k attack or 4k attack monster, which is way easier to swing over than a 5k attack monster, because we could just do all of them instead of just a few. and also clears up our main monster zone. So if you had other cards in your hand, you could keep going, and you could link into, like for example, if you only had one card, like he had Nibiru, if I could have kept going, if I didn't have all my stuff negated, there's a chance I could have linked into Access Code Talker, and when Access Code Talker is linked to this, you can activate its effect to target your level 6 monster in the grave, and it'll have 8,400, and that can be an easy OTK. But we don't get the OTK, which is fine, because we got our big boss monster on the field. We have all our stuff in the grave. You will take 2,300 from I to meet you because of its effect. We revealed Fire Phoenix, and since we didn't summon it, we will take 2,300, but that's fine. That's a small price to pay for getting this monster on the field, this tyrant that's unaffected by everything. Regeki, unaffected. Token isn't, but this unaffected. And I think you can see where he whenever he saw the Regeki didn't work, he was like, oh, this is not good. You can see him, he tries to banish a Shuriq, unaffected. Monster Reborn to bring something back, to try to keep Link summoning to something they can swing over my rival Cyberverse. He has the materials to do it. In his hand, he has the materials to do it. That's the only, like I said before, that's the only thing that sucks about this deck, is for most times you have to kind of take the maxi challenge unless they have nothing in their hand, and you can switch summon one time and just hope. So he summons Access Code Talker here, and he's gonna boost its attack as you would when you summon Access Code Talker. But like I said before, we have Denmari in the grave. Where are you at, Denmari? There's Denmari. And Denmari negates, so we saved that. We intentionally saved that because it's the only negate we have. Negates effects. Its attack is less. He tries to call by the grave it, but it's already banished, so you can't call by the grave it. And then I think we know what happens here. We're about to see a lot of shattering. And he closed the application there, and that is how that won. Now let's get right into the deck list. So here's how I like to run my Igniters, because I don't have all the optimal hand traps. But we'll go over the core pieces, the rest you can fill in with hand traps, of your pleasing, and other good spell cards. So some of the main pieces are, you need the Water Igniter. This is one of the cards that special summons from the hand. Same thing with this Earth one, Dashin special summons from the hand. 3 copies of Aikichi, these are one of your combo starters. These will get you into your Picari. Copy of the Wind one, the Wind Igniter, that's the one that throws Donmari in the not Donmari, is that Donmari? Yeah, Donmari. Throws Donmari in the graveyard to get Donmari in the grave. And then it's also allows you to go into your Synchro because it's the only tuner in the deck. 3 copies of Picari. This will be one of your combo starters. It'll let you search into I to meet you to search into your Akichi. Or you could use it to search into any other spell you need. Like you can search into an AI Contact if you started with 3 copies of the field spell in your starting hand. 2 copies of Doyon. Doyon, upon normal special summon, it adds a card from your graveyard to your hand. Specifically an Igniter monster from your graveyard to your hand. This is good for if you start a combo with the Picari, you can add Picari back to your hand and special summon it with the field spell. The copy of Denmari, this is your negate when you get in the graveyard. Copy of this Earth Igniter, what it does, it special summons from the hand by negating the effects of an Igniter monster you control. 3 copies of Signet Mining, this allows you to search for your Picari or your Akichi if you don't have them in your starting hand. And it can also be used to bait out Ash Blossoms, which is generally what I tend to do with it. I run 2 copies of AI Contact. You can run 1, but I highly recommend 2 for those bad hands you get where you thought were 3 copies of the field spell, because this will let you draw 3 essentially. 3 copies of I to meet you. This is one of the things you use to search for either an Akichi, or sometimes you have to search for a Doyon depending on the circumstance. 3 copies of the field spell, Igniter AI Land. This is the whole thing to get the combo started. Let you special summon from the hand. 2 copies of Ayala Reborn. This is another good card for keeping your combos going if you have nothing else to summon. Copy of Cyber's Quantum Dragon. This card is kind of just for if you can't get the full combo off, this will help you save your Link monster. Like if you get Dark Templar and you can get this on the field at the same time, you can save your Dark Templar from one effect and they'll keep you alive longer if you can't get it fully done. Wind Pegasus, this is the synchro we go into to help keep our monsters safe. Because when it's in the graveyard, it allows you to take a card in their field, send it right back into the deck if a card you have on the field is destroyed. Link Spider, this is our protection from Nibiru's, which is very nice because that's also free. It comes with the Link deck that you get from just leveling up and playing the game. Link Garibo, this is just a trap card negate. If you need to, you can get this on the field if you have to swing directly with something that's not your boss monster. 2 copies of Dark Infant. This is one of the big combo starters. This needs to be here to make it happen because it has the effect where it moves left 1 and changes its attribute. Cyrus Wicked, this allows us to search for our Wind Igniter and put it in our hand. Update Jammer. Update Jammer is another negate. It's another piece for if you need assistance, like if you another example if you don't get your full combo off. 2 copies of Splash Mage, this lets us special summon from the grave. Copy of Transco Talker, does what Splash Mage does, but it costs 3 links. Copy of Dark Templar, this is one of the main combo pieces. This is what gets all your materials to link summon into the rival. Fire Phoenix is mainly just a search target for Akichi, but there are some times where you will have to link into this and swing into a monster. It has its effect where you can stop the battle, but your opponent still takes 2,300, so you can swing into something bigger than it and get that last bit of damage you need at the end of the duel. Access Code Talker, just another option to link into. It's just something else if you have no other options. And the boss monster or rival Cyberverse at Ignister. And that's just the general core pieces you need. The rest you can fill with whatever hand traps you feel like or whatever cards you need. Like I run a pot of Avarice because a lot of stuff gets set in the graveyard. It's good to recycle. A Regeki, you know, just the good old stuff. But I can show you like an optimized way of it. And as you can see, this is the optimized version with all the juicy hand traps. 2 copies of Ash Blossom, copy of Nib, copy of Harpy's Feather Duster to pop back row. I have a copy of Lightning Storm in here, but I don't think Lightning Storm is good for this. I'd rather you'd run like a Regeki. Regeki would be better than Lightning Storm for this. 2 Call by the Grave. I run 3 Twin Twisters in my other one. 3 Infinite Permanents and 2 Solemn Strikes. That could be replaced with Forbidden Droplet or Maxi even, but I don't feel Maxi is needed for this deck, although Maxi could help you get a little bit more consistent and fill your hand with all these Ignister monsters to keep link summoning. With that said, I have a few more replays left for you guys. I hope you stick around. Enjoy the rest of the video.